My grandfather moved from Oakland to Ghana during COVID, and they opened up a coffee shop. He's always just had a really big emphasis on community listening, coffee for productivity. He fell in love with those beans. He sent them over to me to try. Of course, I had family and friends try it, but the piece that was the most difficult was that I needed hot water, I needed a coffee grinder, and it made it hard for me to share the coffee. So one of those things I stumbled across was just making it ready to drink so I can share the same flavor profiles and coffee that he serves.
So Shannon, welcome. Glad to have you here, man.
Thank you.
I love the box. It's the first time I've seen the box.
Yeah, the box is very nice.
Still iterating. I mean, I was on my phone taking notes. It was a few things that resonated with me. I had a tough day yesterday, and I'm brushing off my pants and
getting back up.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
What happened yesterday?
I went too design heavy on my barcode, and the contrast actually on my decaf is a little bit too close. And when I dropped it off to a retailer, it didn't scan. So I got cases of coffee I need to get through, and working through the process of getting some stickers temporarily so we can make the retail push.
You got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, that's really, in my opinion, that's extraordinarily good content, right? Like, people need to see that. They need to see it's not all sunshine and fairy tales when you're in this entrepreneur thing, and things happen.
Those are easy mistakes to make. And
yeah.
I think we've all made something similar. I know I have.
Yeah.
So I'd love to try. Is that all right? If we try something?
Yeah. And really, I will tell you, Clay's been such a blessing to us because he is a sounding board. So where we're like, what do you think of this? And we've been really happy to learn from him, and hopefully we've provided some value as well.
So Shannon, you're about a year old. So I can remember meeting you back around May, and we're pushing May now. So at the time, it was just an idea, and I want you to kind of go into it. But I love where you're at right now. You've come a long way in a year.
So this is brand new then. Well, I think I'm going to take one from you too. Yeah. They're very pretty cans. So I will tell you, this would draw my attention.
It's that's a medium roast from Mexico. We brewed it with cocoa powder and vanilla bean. It's called the Jeff El Jefe, partly because it's Spanish, but my grandfather's name is Jeff, and he discovered real bean or whole bean coffee in Mexico in the 70s. So that's the story behind. So similarly to stories, every can I try to.
That is super fun.
Yeah.
This is great. I love the look and the feel of the logo to the feel of the label here. So talk about the origin story, Shannon. You've got an amazing origin story. We were just talking with the Princess Megan here about storytelling and the importance of building that into your brand and people being associated and having identity in that. So let's talk a little bit about how you are bringing this from your grandfather over here to the U.S.
My grandfather moved from Oakland to Ghana during COVID. It was nothing special about Ghana specifically. Was no intent originally. He was in the Air Force and he traveled. And just through connecting with folks in the Bay Area, that's the place that he traveled the most, and he landed. He met his now wife, and they opened up a coffee shop that really turned into a hub for that community. But it's really something that's been a part of our family for now 4 generations. He's always just had a really big emphasis on community listening, learning, coffee for productivity, coffee for empowering groups in those countries where they're producing it. He fell in love with those beans. He sent them over to me to try. Of course, I had family and friends try it. But the piece that was the most difficult was that I needed hot water, I needed a coffee grinder, I needed 3,000 accessories, and it made it hard for me to share the coffee. So one of those things I stumbled across was just making it ready to drink so I can share the same flavor profiles and coffee that he serves here.
That's amazing. Well, it tastes very good too.
Thank you.
I think it's very It's very, very tasty.
I've never had cold coffee. I'm not a cold coffee drinker, but as soon as the aftertaste is exactly like what you would expect from a really good cup of coffee.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I liked it. Let's talk a little bit about your journey from last May, kind of coming up with the idea and to now. Where so you got an Amazon store, got a Shopify store, right? So hitting the basics. Anywhere else you sell? I know you're also into some other locations, but
yeah, and in a few local grocery stores, also in a few co-working spaces. But Amazon, woke up this morning, an order came in late last night that needs to be confirmed and shipped by today. So that channel's just been growing slowly.
That's
but,
exciting.
So you're doing FBM, fulfillment
for
merchant
right now.
Okay.
Been listening about
Yeah.
some of the ads, and we've talked about that before.
Handwritten thank you card to that customer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
Y'all do that still to this day, right?
Yes, we do. Well, we used to legitimately handwrite every note,
Mm-hmm.
and the Wizard would do it because my penmanship looks like a doctor wrote it. So, but no, we used to handwrite every single note. Now we do print a thank you on the back of a card, and we do switch that card every single month with a different piece of art that accompanies it. But it has actually been one of the forefronts of our brand, along with we do hand wax seal every back of every card. So that has been really, really fun. And we do change the wax colors too to make it different.
There's this concept of it, especially in the early days of your company, doing things that don't scale. And handwriting letters is not a scalable thing, especially from the founder, right? But it sets, for your first customers, it sets this connection, this bond. I think for Havenlock, for the first 1,000 customers, first 1,000 pre-orders, we did a big business on pre-orders first. I hand wrote everybody a letter thanking them for backing us on Kickstarter, thanking them for their pre-order, and then giving them a sticker. I mean, it was our
But it
logo.
does matter. Yeah, it matters.
And we were delayed it took us 4.5 years to build that product. Okay.
Yeah.
And over those years, they did not give up their pre-order. Or some of them did, but the majority of them kept their pre-order, and we just kept communicating with them and saying, "Hey, we're doing our best. We've had these challenges, but this is how we're overcoming them." And I think it stemmed back to me writing them a handwritten letter thanking them for their order. And now you got a process now started with Amazon. Here's a chance for you to connect with that buyer and say, "Hey, I'm the founder." Maybe it's just I'm the founder of this company. Just started our Amazon store. Your review means a lot to me. Here's my cell phone number. If I can help you with anything, if anything didn't come packaged right, we're still perfecting this. Like, let them know that you're in this vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, right?
Absolutely. In fact, people love, my sister actually said this to me, and I can't agree more. She said, people love to be the hero in your story.
Absolutely.
So make them feel special, but make them feel like you need them. And genuinely you do, right? They're the people that are going to support your brand and keep you going. I think also Amazon's a bit different because you don't have, I think, as much of your customers' data as you do on Shopify. But the Wizard used to send a video. He would record a video for every customer that came through too.
Wow.
And he would say, "Bob, thank you so much for your order. Your order means the world to me. I'm making it right now. I'm packaging it right now, and it's going to be shipping out to you." And I think that was extraordinarily helpful as well because they felt personally connected. They knew who was doing it, first of all, and they knew what to expect. But we did. We were so, and still are, so grateful for every customer that puts trust in us, and letting them know that is never going to hurt anyone, right? Like, you will never find anyone that's like, "Ugh, they thanked me for my order."
Right. And that vulnerability that you show will connect to them, and they're likely going to reorder. If they have a problem with shipping or the product, they're going to come directly to you and not post about it on Amazon. Okay. That way you can fix it for them. And they're likely going to tell somebody.
Right.
Like, "Hey man, the founder took time to write me a letter." When was the last time you got a letter from the founder of a company?
I don't even know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, can you think?
Yeah, no, it's pretty rare. And I
Very
will also
rare.
tell you, recently I heard this, and I don't even remember where I heard it from, but they said the best thing you can get is when a customer reaches out to you, because that means they're giving you an opportunity to improve.
Yeah.
Versus not saying anything and either A, not shopping with you again, or B, like you said, the reviews come in. But if you're getting customer complaints, it means they're giving you an opportunity. And so that's the way we view it. Like, we really listen and we really hear them. And doesn't mean everyone's going to always be the winner in their concepts or their ideas, but we want to listen intently without, it's really easy when it's your baby and it's your brand, without trying to take offense to the feedback and really trying to just look at it and say, okay, how can we improve?
Yep. On the customer support side, like right now, they email you, Shannon. Is that how they would interact with you?
Yeah.
Do you have any other customer support channel yet, like a Gorgeous or a Zendesk or anything like that?
Not yet. I tried to keep the email open. I did play around with having an inbox on Shopify, but scrapped that for the pop-up and like rewards, just so
Yeah.
it wasn't too many things floating.
Well, I will tell you, we worked out of Gmail for many, many years. We actually just implemented Gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all been running off of Gmail for your customer support?
I'm talking like February.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite insane. It's remarkable. And really, we had one customer service up for a long time, and then my sister actually came on to help out with beauty, and we are actually getting that up and coming. But we had one person doing it all.
Wow.
I don't recommend. I think you need extra people. That would be one of those things.
I like Gorgeous as a platform that I use for customer support, but still to this day, I run a brand. It's a little over 2 years old, but I still answer every support ticket myself as the founder and CEO of the company.
I think that's also, I think it is helpful initially. At this point, obviously we couldn't do that any longer, but I think it's really, really helpful because you can see, and what I think too is like sometimes we see a trend, right? Like we'll see the same problem over and over again, and we're like, okay, we have to fix this. And it could be, a batch of our products just got messed up, or it could be that a lot of customer support complaints. We ship everything through the United States Postal Service just for cost. It's the cheapest, but they will reuse tracking numbers. And a lot of people will check their tracking and it's come up that it's, it got delivered in Dallas, Texas, and I'm in Ohio. And so trying to educate customers on that kind of stuff, but seeing those trends and then being able to address them, I think is super important. So
kind of going back to that, like you've got to do things that don't scale at the beginning, but the founder, especially the first year or so, definitely needs to be attached directly to the voice of the customer, because that's where you identify how to solve problems and how to scale things. That if you were to go ahead and pass that on to hire someone, and their job is just to knock out support tickets, they're not going to report back, hey, we've got this consistent problem. They just don't think the way that you're going to think.
Absolutely, yeah. And we have tried to train our people with that too. Like we want to know if we see a trend, like if someone's fulfilling, are they constantly making errors, and then we can address it with that person. But we do try to keep some logs going. But yes, you're absolutely right. And I think Gorgeous has been a great one. So absolutely get something like that implemented, even if you're the one doing all of it. I think it's easier to do that than backtrack once you.
So from 3 Shopify owners right here. I've been running Shopify stores. I was an investor in Shopify very early. Let's see how we can help Shannon. How long have you been on Shopify? A couple months, 3 months, 5 months?
I've had the Shopify for 3 years.
Okay. Oh.
Stood it up.
Okay.
In the last year.
Okay.
Got it.
So really
Okay.
push it. So what can we do? What can we help you with that might help improve conversion rate, might improve traffic? Like any questions that you want to ask somebody that's been running Shopify stores for a long time?
I think the number one question I have might be auxiliary to Shopify, because been able to ship and fulfill orders successfully. So I'm thinking about ways of how to add to the top of the funnel.
Okay, so get top of funnel traffic into the site. Okay. Okay, so let's talk. They're talking about Facebook, right? We're spending a lot of time on that's y'all's number one customer acquisition channel.
So
next to organic.
Yes, it is. I would say at this point in time. However, early on, and when I say we, I mean Colin, really focused on connecting with people on a personal level. So he would be in groups, beard groups, personal groups, just making friends. And he would send a lot of free product, and we had no product really to send, but we would send as much as we could. We'd send free product to people to make them aware of it and then hopefully get them talking about it. I think initially that was the best thing we could have done to get that early feedback, but also be able to kind of understand the mindset of the consumer that we were trying to attract. And then we started running ads. So paid search came a little bit later and was truly the secret to growth that we've had. But I don't think it would have gone over as well if we didn't do those early things.
Yep. I definitely would recommend organic first, trying to build relationship, trying to build awareness. You can't outpay a bad organic strategy, okay? And the better your organic is, the better your paid will perform, right? And they start to lift off each other, right? And what I mean by that is like if you try to start a cold campaign right on Facebook right now, it's going to be really hard for Facebook to figure out who your customer is, right? Who they need to send the ad to. But if you've got some organic stuff going on out there, this content flywheel that we're talking about of creating content, it's going to be able to search that and identify who's most likely going to be your customer. So they're going to send the ad to a more targeted demographic or a more targeted audience. So start with this, like kind of getting in your mind going, okay, I'm going to try to release one piece of content a week. And then I'm going to try to release one piece of content a day. Like try to get like to that kind of cadence. How like y'all's content, like y'all are always putting out content. Do you have like an estimate of frequency, like how frequent y'all are?
So on organics, we make sure we post daily.
Yep.
Very rarely do we recycle content, but post daily, even if you're posting something you posted 6 weeks ago, post it again. Make sure you're continuing posting, because we also have this, like, I think most people have this ego that everyone, unintentionally, but that everyone is aware of them all the time. Nobody is paying attention to you ever. And you might feel like all you're doing is blasting people with stuff. And I can promise you 5% of people actually know you exist, or even less than, like, obviously not, but even of your sphere, even just taking your customer base, if you have 100 people and you're posting daily on all your socials and you're sending emails and you're sending text messages, you'll probably reach 10% of them, because everyone's busy and they're not paying attention to you. So don't be afraid to continue to produce, right? Like, yeah, you don't want to annoy people, but a lot of people think I sent one email this week, that's too much. No, you want to continuously be touch pointing. Yeah, and someone's got availability, right? Like they might have a minute where they're sitting down and that's when they're going to open your email. But if you sent it 3 days ago, that email's gone. They're not going to think about it again. So, you want to still be touching always. And one thing we're introducing, actually, we're going to do our first one this next coming Monday, is we're going to do some live shopping. So we're going to go live in Shopify and do some live shopping so we can connect and we can talk to our customers live. And they can ask questions and we can answer.
Go live in Shopify. Do you mean live in Facebook?
No, it's in Shopify.
In Shopify. Okay.
Yeah, the app downloader, master downloader over there. And I will tell you, a lot of what we learn is by what I buy, what I consume, and we watch what they do, and then we do it too. So if I see a company that's doing better than us, I pay attention. And then when I see something that may or may not work, we try.
Very good.
Yeah.
So top of funnel, definitely want to start kind of getting into this cadence or rhythm or frequency of just putting out content, whether it's about you, about the struggle with the contrast ratio on the barcode, right? Those are things that, like,
people want to know.
I feel your pain now, and now I'm gonna go buy his product on Amazon and give him a review, because like he's like genuine, right? And it's okay to be genuine. And like there's all these things that we can talk about our brand, and it doesn't have to be about selling coffee. Like they sell beard oil, but they tell the story of all these characters, right? And these stories, they just happen to sell beard oil on the other side of it.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's always been a dream of mine to sell coffee because I'm so in love with it. But I think also another really great way for cold traffic when you are newer, I mean, paid search is king, right? Like you're going to have to find a channel that eventually you produce paid search in. But I think partnering with other local places that you said you're in a lot of local stores, so do some content with them. Tag them, be in the store, ask if you can set up a tasting station in there, where you're talking to customers directly. I think that would be extraordinarily fun and great content as well, to get a camera and record customers' reactions and then be able to share that. I think people would really enjoy it. In a presence, and you're helping support their brand too. So very rarely is someone going to tell you no when you're helping promote them.
Another thing would be like local pop-up events, like let's say like morning 5K runs, like for a charity or something, right? It's springtime. There's going to be a lot of those happening on Saturday, every Saturday for the next few weeks. Like showing up and giving coffee away, right? And interacting with customers, interacting with potential customers, but that gives you the ability to get some content, get some feedback, right? It builds social proof too. You put that up on your social media, you put that up on your website, put that up in an email, right? That we sponsored a 5K, but there's what other morning events are happening?
Yeah.
Typically, I'm saying morning events because I typically think of coffee being a product that people consume in the morning. Now, not necessarily true. I get it in the afternoon as well. So find those types of work meetings that maybe people are having in the morning, and then that right after lunch. Like try to find like places that, like at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, that might have an event in the afternoon, saying, "Hey, can I come perk everybody up after lunch?"
Yeah,
right.
I think another fun thing is that. I have no data to support what I'm going to say, but I would argue that cold coffee drinkers like this a lot of women would buy this to mix, whether they're going to mix it and, probably ruin it with sweet cream. I know I can see it in your eyes. You're like, no, but I think even encouraging, like after a morning Pilates class, I mean, like, hey, can we sponsor this class and leave coffee for all the women? Those are your buyers, in my opinion. They are your buyers.
We've been lucky to do a few events with the Yelp community, the Renaissance.
Yeah.
The Renaissance team a couple of months ago, and last month in March. That's what helped.
Yeah.
Move things forward for me was with the cans. I did a year of pop-ups. I did a lot. It was a lot of boots on the ground last year.
Right.
Events from corporate down to local events. And that's what really has given me the confidence to add a decaf and eventually find other ways to make this coffee that's ready to drink. I mean, we think of it if it is coffee, but the fact that it's pre-brewed gives us so many more options.
Absolutely.
You can save time in the line and just grab a can and walk your dog. Go to a Pilates class.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one thing is don't ever be afraid to ask. I think we often get tied up in like, oh, what if they say no? And it's like, well, great, then you know the answer.
Y'all have been reading my mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, but just genuinely like continuously support and request and make those connections to get those opportunities, because it's already a no if you don't ask.
So you've already been doing these local pop-ups in the Nashville area, I'm assuming. Anything outside of Nashville?
I've done a couple in Atlanta.
Okay.
But the pop-ups are something that right now we're doing a 6-week residency at San Zapata, doing yoga in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So great. I think that's great.
Awesome.
And on top of it being grab and go, we do set up cups with ice and then provide
samples.
Lattes and things like that.
Yeah. And I think a way too to get kind of cheaper traffic on Facebook, and it is a little bit more difficult to kind of see your ROI, but is to run a campaign based on an event. So just a localized campaign. We're going to be here at this time. Come try some coffee. Come hang. Come see us. And getting that traffic to you, and then you can connect physically with those customer base. So
I think going back to like the Red Bull story and how they wanted to, their original goal was to start selling in Germany, but due to the ingredients, the German government wouldn't allow it in Germany. So they moved I think to Austria, like right next door. And they started going, and they knew that their demographic was like this bar crowd that wanted to stay up all night and keep partying, right? That was their demographic. Your demographic might be people coming out of a Pilates, a yoga thing in the morning, or about to go into a meeting in the morning, whatever. but they set up and started giving away samples at these bars. But if you remember back in like 2003, 2004, when Red Bull hit America, how did they get the market share? Pop-up events, pop-up events, right? They had Red Bull girls giving out free Red Bull at every single bar you ever went into, every single club, right? That's because it built that brand recognition.
Right. And one thing that's nice about your brand is it's a consumable. So, if someone's going to drink it, they're going to need it more.
Exactly.
You're not going to,
The
have one
LTV
day.
is-
Yeah. You have one day where someone's going to be able to consume this when it's open, and that's pretty much it. Right. So, they're going to continue to buy if they like what you're selling.
Definitely.
And they feel, again, I think it's really important to make them feel like they're the hero in your story, especially right now where, there is still a push to get brand recognition out there. So,
yeah. Any other questions you want to ask us? Happy to.
Cohort.
Okay, cohort analysis, like what we're like talking about, how we identify cohorts and we market to those cohorts and understand. Okay, online. Okay, that's probably more for Colin, but
So just diving deeper into the analytics, set up Google just to see, looking
Okay.
at the Shopify session counts, good year over year, it's up, it's
Yep.
looking good. But then I looked at the cohort,
okay,
and a lot of folks are barely making it to week 2, and then it's way less than getting to week 3. And my question is that due to maybe not having subscription set up? Is it the wrong type of content that keeps people from coming back? You know?
Well, I think also the cadence and there's an assumption that they're consuming it daily or multiple times a day, right? Some people are going to consume these when they can't get to their coffee pot or they need to grab and go. So don't let it discourage you to assume that just because they're not coming back on a reoccurring basis, that means they won't. I think subscription is always super important to have. Convenience for people. Also, they're forgetting about you quicker than you realize. You have to gain their attention again, right? So making sure you're communicating them through email, monitoring those cohorts in a way that's, okay, these customers love the product, we got good reviews. What can we do to get them back? Offering a promotion, offering prepaid subscriptions for 3 months. And then they can kind of control the cadence in which it ships, but they're prepaying for it. Things like that, I think, really impact things.
Now you don't have a subscription plan, is that right? Or you're going to add that?
I have one up.
Yeah. You're using like a platform like Rebuy.
I'm using the native.
Shopify native. Okay.
I think I looked at Loop.
Yeah. That's a returns. I think Loop returns.
I've never heard of that one.
Okay.
We use Recharge.
Recharge.
Yeah, Recharge. Yeah, I've used Recharge. So one thing is, she's right. They may not be prompted enough times or frequency enough to come back and buy. Right. So let's say you look at your cohort. Typically, I look at like a 30-day cohort or a monthly cohort, and if they order and say that the eighth of the month, and then you want them to order again the next 8th, like the next month later, right? So prompting them to come back and get a subscription, prompting them a discount to come back and buy another product, a bundle, whatever, right? Are you doing that through automation, through email, like right? There's automated ways. I use Klaviyo. Y'all probably use Klaviyo as well, right? So
Text messaging is huge right now.
yeah, SMS, right? And when you're collecting this stuff on your site, especially once they order, right? Putting them into a segment in Klaviyo that segments them by cohort, right? So that you're sending them every 30 days, every 60 days, every whatever, bringing them back into the brand, right?
Is that in addition to like a win back communication, or is that the sending out the win back based on a segment of people that haven't ordered within 60 days? Or
the way I kind of look at it is like I have a welcome flow for people I'm trying to become a customer. So this is anybody that's going to come to my website and be willing to give me their email address. And typically I'm going to give them an incentive, like a discount or some sort of free product in exchange for them giving me their email address. Do y'all have like a welcome pop, right?
Yeah.
What's your welcome pop?
I think we A/B test a lot of different
Yep.
things. Currently, I think it is a BOGO on their first order.
Okay, so buy one, get one on your first order. So that might be something you might do on yours. And like she's talking about testing it all the time. You're also watching your opt-in rates. How many people are opting in based upon this welcome pop, right? And you're collecting email addresses. And these are all pre-customers, okay? So then in that, it's all about bringing them through within about 60 to 75 days, getting them exposed to my brand story, right? Third-party voice, social proof, other people's reviews. We put them through different value prop emails talking about the value of the product, right? And then it kind of wraps up with, here's a final offer if you haven't bought, right? So over about 45 to 55, 60 days, they're getting different emails about the company, about the brand, about the product. And then here's like a 20% discount if they haven't bought, right? If they buy within that, right, then I'm putting them into my cohorts, right? So that might be a April cohort or a May cohort or a June 2025 cohort. And then from there, I'm sending out campaigns and flows to people who purchase.
So I think
all
also
using Klaviyo. Yep.
we have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group that we encourage all of our customers to join, and they get to kind of communicate together and really be part of something. You get to communicate with your customers. I think that's a really easy way to have a value for someone without an ask specifically. Like, hey, come join our group, connect with other coffee lovers. And it's a really, really easy way.
Love it.
Then when they're in that group, your customers kind of sell them without you having to do a lot too. It's just a touch point. They're free to make, they're free to run. And I encourage every business owner to do one. Just make it a private group and just keep your customers in there.
Yep. We just got the wrap up message
All
from them. Megan and Shannon, I really appreciate y'all's time today. And I think
thank
we
you.
helped
Thank
a lot
you
of
for
other
having
entrepreneurs
us.
along the way today.
Yeah,
So
I
thank y'all
appreciate
for
it.
being here. So
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
awesome.